This short virtual walk will take us from the Pier Hotel in Gorleston to the riverside at Brush Bend, and then along the quay as far as the Lighthouse. Here we cross the road, turning left, and make our way to the Stormhouse Cafe at the junction of Pier Road. From here, the walk takes us along Pier Road to the foot of the White Lion steps on Beach Road. Then, after a U-turn and a short distance, we will arrive at Pavilion Road and turn right. After a stop at the Pavilion, we cross the road to the bandstand, where we pause before heading to the Promenade. A turn to the left takes us past the Ocean Rooms and back to the Pier Hotel, from where we started out. We start our walk on the promenade near the hotel. This part of the promenade was some of the first beachside area to have a proper walkway put in place at the beginning of the 20th century, and which was originally wooden. The promenade stretched from the hotel over to the front of the shops at the north end of the cliffs, roughly where the model boat pond is situated. The Pier Hotel was built in 1897, just 1 year ahead of the original Cliff Hotel that we will hear about a little later. It replaced the public house known as the Anchor and Hope, which was frequented by the fishermen of the time. Recently, in 2019, the hotel and surrounding area featured in the highly successful film Yesterday, which was directed by Danny Boyle, who became well known for his creativity in the 2012 London Olympics opening ceremony. Turning towards the road, we can walk straight ahead and, keeping to the right, cross the road to the car park and pass through the flood barrier gate, which is usually in place during the winter months, and arrive at the riverside wall. At this point, the river turns from its southerly flow towards the east and out to sea. In the 16th century, the southerly flow was diverted eastwards by the efforts of many local people. Supervised by a Dutchman, Jas Johnson, and using simple hand tools, the local people changed the course of the river, creating what we see today. To create a dam effect at this point, brushwood was used to trap the silt and mud and form a barrier to the flow of water. We still refer to the area as Brush Bend and the quay as Brush Quay. A wooden pier was created, which survived until the middle of the last century, when it was converted to the steel and concrete version we have now. It became well known for its wooden niches used by fishermen and others for secluded shelter. These became affectionately known as the cosies. Across the river on the Great Yarmouth side, there's a sandy area behind the wooden structure known as the Skeleton Works. The structure is for shipping guidance, but the sandy beach-like area also has a purpose. Strong currents, waves and wash from the large vessels create a very turbulent river flow at this point, which can be damaging to the riverside. The energy of this turbulence is allowed to be released as the river rolls onto the beach. The river is spending or expending its energy, and hence the name given to the area is the Spending Beach. A little further along the quay, we can stop opposite the Lighthouse. Today, even the smallest of vessels use the accuracy of satellite-guided navigation, but the Lighthouse would have been the saviour of many in its day. It was known as Range Rear, as it was one of the two lights that were used for navigation. The other, or front light, was situated on the pier. A simple brick tube construction, the lighthouse was built at a cost of £272 in 1886, something akin to £50,000 today. The quay was home to several teams of beachmen, one of their bases still remaining as the Stormhouse Cafe. Using the access over the inner concrete flood barrier wall, we will walk back along the quay and cross to the old Stormhouse. The beachmen provided a number of services such as ferrying across the river and the rescue of those in difficulties out at sea, often making their living from the salvage that was collected during the rescue missions. The main part of their income was from charges they made when fetching fish from vessels that were moored out at sea. The three beachman companies operating here were the Stormhouse Company, the Rangers and the Young Flies. At the Stormhouse corner we turn right into Pier Road and walk towards Pavilion Road, with the Pavilion Theatre on our left. Crossing Pavilion Road, we arrive at Beach Road just a little further on, where immediately in front of us is a flight of steps. At the top of the steps is the building which was the White Lion Tavern, but has since been converted into residential accommodation. Straight ahead at the foot of the steps there is a raised area where a cast iron pump is situated, along with an explanatory plaque. The pump was installed here to draw clean water from an underground source. This was done under the instruction of Admiral Lord Adam Duncan in 1797. His fleet of ships that defeated the Dutch at the Battle of Camperdown was moored just off the coast here, using this pump as one of their sources of drinking and washing water. A U-turn and a few steps along Pier Road returns us to the side of the Pavilion Theatre, where at the far end you can see the steps up to its original entrance. The tea rooms on the east side had a superb sea view, but were eventually converted into the entrance we see today. The pavilion was opened in 1901 and built in an Italian style. It's had a checkered history of success and problems over its many years, and its current owners have made huge efforts to maintain its continuity. There's currently an ongoing programme to restore the building's fabric and preserve it for the future. Plays, shows and pantomimes are now featured throughout the year, as the audiences enjoy the relaxed Edwardian atmosphere while seated at tables with their choice of refreshment. A significant name of note that some will remember is that of Bill Pertwee. He started his acting career here in the 1950s and is best remembered for playing the role of the air raid warden in the television series Dad's Army. Crossing the road, we come to a grassed area with a central bandstand. In the early 1900s, the area was similarly used, also with the bandstand, which had started its days just outside the Hippodrome in Great Yarmouth. Eventually, the circular building that we see, now the Ocean Rooms and formerly the Floral Hall, was constructed in 1938, along with an open-air swimming pool. The pool was a huge success, but in the 1970s developed a leak that washed away the sand underneath. As a temporary measure, the pool was made shorter, but eventually the situation became a potential danger and the pool had to be demolished in 1993. Standing at the bandstand, we see a row of shops and food outlets that have been here since 1898. This was when the elegant turreted Victorian Cliff Hotel was built, but survived only 17 years. One of the lower entrances to the hotel is now incorporated behind the glass conservatory that forms a part of the cafe. A terrace similar to the shops to the left of the entrance was planned for the right-hand side, but was never built. The hotel had 139 bedrooms, with all mod cons of the day. On the night of Boxing Day 1915, there were no guests at the time, and the hotel caught fire, which ripped through the entire structure, resulting in total destruction of the main building. The annexed house forming part of the current Cliff Hotel survived, together with the stables at the rear of the site. A walk up Cliff Hill and around the Dogleg Road layout to the upper promenade will take you past the old stable block, which still retains some of its original character. Walking through the grassed area to the beach promenade, a turn to the left and a few paces on, past the ocean rooms, brings us back to the starting point at the Pier Hotel. The ocean rooms next to the hotel continues as a successful place of entertainment, often for the younger generation. In the early 1900s, the beach area here, stretching towards the shops, was known as Children's Corner, probably because of its ease of access and relatively safe environment away from the long stretches of open beach further along. Join us when you can on one of our guided heritage walks and learn more about our rich history.